This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 6 to verse 6 to verse 8, and it reads, "And ye shall hear, O wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but the end is not yet." Matthew 24 and 7, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Akakadash. Shalom to the elders for pushing the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerity as well too. And I say shalom to the Akim out there. And this is a sit-down lesson that I want to bring out from the AssociatedPressNews.com. Alternative World News from the AssociatedPress.com, and it reads, reportedly, Israeli strike damaged Aleppo airport and puts it out of service. And this been taking place numerous of times in previous years, and as of recently as well too, as we see the tensions between the pro-Iranian groups versus the Israelis, which is the Israeli Defense Force. And it says an Israeli airstrike hits the international airport in the city of Aleppo in northern Syria early on Monday, damaging a runway and putting it out of service, Syrian state media says. The state news SANA, citing a military official, said the Israeli planes coming from the Mediterranean Sea carrying out the attack around 4:30 a.m. There were no immediately reported. The airport has been targeted several times this year, including 2 attacks in March that also put it out of service. It says there was no immediate comment for the Israeli officials. Israeli has carried out hundreds of strikes on targeting inside the government-controlled parts of Syria in recent years, including attacks on the Damascus and Aleppo airport. But it is rarely acknowledged or discussed. The operations often strike targets in Syrian military forces or the Iranian-backed groups. It says the Israel has targeted airport at seaports in the government-held part of Syria in an apparent attempt to prevent arms shipments from Iran to militant groups backed by Tehran, including Lebanon's Hezbollah. Thousands of Iranian-backed fighters from around the region joined Syria's 12-year conflict of helping tip the balance in favor of President Assad's forces. Aleppo, who suffered widespread destruction in Syria's civil war, was again heavily damaged in the deadly 7.8 earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria in February. And this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. And it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying of this recent news from the AssociatedPressNews.com as of Monday morning, because the time zones are kind of different from the Middle East in comparisons to the United States. So as we continue to see the tensions between the Iranian-backed groups and the Hezbollah-backed groups, and Hezbollah of its organization army as well too, versus the Israeli Defense Force, as a non-stop back-and-forth proxy wars on and off escalations in the cross-border conflict of the Israel border, which is the Israeli Defense Force, which is the Israelis' Defense Force, which is the IDF firing non-stop missiles over there in the Damascus area, Aleppo, Syria, near the airport, what's been recently been hit multiple times, as you was seeing through the article as I was reading it. So that shows you that the tensions are just only going to escalate, as we've been seeing it for previous years and as of recently as well too. As we're going to continue to see the tensions between Iran and the pro-Iranian groups and Hezbollah versus the Israeli Defense Force, a confrontation, cross-border conflict from Syria all the way into Israel. So with that, hopefully this sit-down lesson was edifying. I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Krakadash. Shalom to the elders for preaching the word, truth, and sincerity. And shalom to the Akim, scattered to the four corners of the globe, preaching the word, truth, and sincerity as well too. And until next time, I will say shalom.